Kong Skull Island is directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts. This is an action-adventure fantasy film. This is the first movie in the newly formed MonsterVerse, but it is the second movie to come out after the 2014 Godzilla movie, which was directed by Gareth Edwards. Now, as far as the chronological order of these films go, Kong Skull Island is the first in this film series. The film stars Tom Hiddleston as James Conrad, Samuel L. Jackson as Preston Packard, Brie Larson as Mason Weaver, and John C. Reilly as Hank Marlowe. How about that? 4 people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this film. We have Loki, Nick Fury, Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, and the Xandarian corpsman Denarian Day. So that's pretty cool. Kong Skull Island also stars John Goodman as Bill Randa, Corey Hawkins as Houston Brooks, Tian Jing as Sam, and Toby Kebbell as Jack Chapman and Kong. This film is rated PG-13 for intense sci-fi violence and action, as well as brief, strong language. This would not be a movie I would recommend for young children. I would say probably 15 years of age and older. The movie has a runtime of 1 hour and 58 minutes. Kong Skull Island was released in theaters in the United States on Friday, March 10th, 2017. Bill Randa is the head of the agency Monarch, and the 2 people who work with him, Houston Brooks and Sam, get funding for a mission to travel to a lost island by a military helicopter escort. Only the real mission to the mysterious island called Skull Island is being kept under wraps by Randa and his colleagues. The military helicopter escort is led by Lieutenant Colonel Preston Packard, and his pilots and ground crew is being led by a tracker named James Conrad. Things are going well when they first get to the island, but they soon run into a huge ape gorilla named Kong, who is pretty much the king of the island and is trying to defend his territory from not just the human trespassers, but something that lives beneath the island's surface. James Conrad and the remaining survivors must trek to the north end of the island to signal the ship to be rescued, while at the same time surviving the deadly creatures and animals that live on the island. Okay, that's the synopsis of the film. Here are my negatives for this film. First of all, I was really worried when I saw the trailers for this film that it was not going to be good and that the filmmakers were just trying to rip off what Peter Jackson did in his King Kong movie. One thing, or should I say one person I did not like in the film was Brie Larson. I wish they would have gotten someone else to play her character, because I can't stand Brie Larson as an actress or a person. Some of the scenes involving the helicopter pilot soldiers were really dumb and pretty stupid as well, but for the most part they were tolerable, for the most part. Most of the characters are bland and dry and have no character whatsoever, except for Samuel L. Jackson's character and John C. Reilly's character. Most of the characters were just cardboard cutout characters who were pretty much expendable on the island. Some of the visual effects, as far as CGI goes, looked pretty bad for such a big film, but Kong and the other monsters looked spectacular. But the other scenes which utilized CGI looked like it was shot in a studio against a green screen. It was really upsetting that there wasn't a scene in the movie of Kong battling some of the creatures on the island, like in 2005's King Kong movie by Peter Jackson, where Kong battles the T-Rexes and saves Andaro. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were battles between Kong and other creatures, but I thought that scene in the 2005 King Kong movie where he has to battle 3 T-Rexes to save Anne's life, that was an epic fight and an epic scene for that matter. So those are my negatives. Here are my positives for this film. This film was great because in the new movie we see a lot of King Kong, unlike the 2014 Godzilla movie, which we see maybe 10 minutes of Godzilla in that film. With 2014's Godzilla and now Kong Skull Island, they have officially set up the MonsterVerse. I really like the tone of this film. It was an adventure thrill ride for the most part. It's nowhere near as dark as the 2014 Godzilla was. The look of the film, as far as colors go, is amazing. Lots of oranges, yellows, golds, along with greens and blues. The opening battle with Kong and the way it starts was amazing and thrilling. It starts out with this huge tree trunk flying through the air, hitting one of the helicopters, which is the start of the first battle with Kong. John C. Reilly's character I really liked because of his long history on the island and how his demeanor is. This was a character with a background and a very likable character. You could get behind him and you actually cared about this character, and he was a very colorful character at that. Samuel L. Jackson also has character in this movie because once he gets to the island with his troops and then shit really starts happening, he has a score to settle and a vendetta, and his character really shows up, and you can understand where his character is coming from because he lost a lot of his men at the start of the mission. I think it was very interesting that this was set in the 1970s, just after the Vietnam War, but I didn't think that was necessary. I thought maybe it could have been done in present day or maybe the early 1990s. But hey, it gives the film a little bit something more. So, one of my favorite scenes of the film is when it is nighttime on the island and Kong comes out of the fog and sees a few of our characters, and then he moves and backs away from them back into the fog and almost disappears. That was really something and a very interesting and yet great scene. The score for Kong Skull Island was really good. It has an adventurous, ominous tone to it. It really works for the film. The score is composed and conducted by Henry Jackman, and he's done things like Captain America Civil War and Captain America the Winter Soldier, so he knows how to conduct scores. The use of songs from the 1970s decade was good and fun, but the score really has more of a presence in the film than the songs do. Okay, so that's it for my positives. Now it's grading time. I'm going to give Kong Skull Island a B-. This film does have some problems, especially with the human characters. King Kong and the creatures on the island are all awesome. Overall, it is a good and fun film, one I really enjoy and that I have in my movie collection on Blu-ray and DVD. Unfortunately, I did not get to see this film in the theater, and looking back on that now, I wish I would have. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to say good night, God bless, I love all of you, and I will see you all in the next video. So long.